Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome in. I'm here to do a reading for Divine Feminine in the energy of the new moon in Virgo. The first new moon in Virgo, there's actually two of them, which is quite an event. There's one on the first day of Virgo season, so that's the 23rd of August. The sun and the moon at 0 degrees, both in Virgo, of course, very potent energy. And then on the last day, I believe, of Virgo season, there's another new moon in the final degree. That's very unusual and very powerful. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to do a little bit of AstroTarology, but I got a guided music message for Divine Feminine this time around too. Perhaps one of the most astrologically relevant music messages I've ever channeled. And that is one of my gifts. It's how my gifts work. Astrologically speaking, you can see it in my chart, but my whole life I've channeled in messages that seem to be incredibly relevant, often from dead famous people, in this case, not dead. Anyway, if you want to jump ahead to the collective reading, I will put a timestamp in the description box below. One more caution. This energy around Divine Feminine in the new moon of Virgo is incredibly fierce, and I will explain why astrologically, but the energy coursing through me as an empath is also very, very fierce. So I'm going to go a little bit into that, but the music message too, it's not exactly soft. So if you're in a very sensitive mood, I would recommend maybe tuning into this reading at another time or skipping it altogether. Let me get into it. When the new moon in Virgo occurs, 2 days later, Venus moves into Leo. Venus has been in Cancer for a month. And I may be the only astrologer out there to say this, but I said it at the time. I'm not a big fan of that transit of Venus in Cancer. It's kind of a compromising position for Venus to be in. It is incredibly soft, yes. It's incredibly empathic. And when applied in the right way, it can be very nurturing and useful. Romantically speaking, however, Venus behaves maybe overly empathically, we could say, overly nurturing in the energy of Cancer. So the shift from the water sign of Cancer, the cardinal water, into fixed fire of Leo is almost a seismic one. Leo does rule the heart and is very loyal, but also very fierce and very proud. So not so much willing to compromise on that deep emotional level, the way maybe the Cancer energy is. When the fire of Leo steps in, again, we're talking pride, autonomy, the willingness to take your own leadership. And also everybody knows that Leo's the sun and likes to be worshipped. I'm just kidding, but valued, right? Seen. And so again, when we move from the deep water sign of Cancer into that fire sign of Leo, it's a big shift. So that's happening. At that same time, we have Saturn, Neptune. Okay, so Saturn, the lessons that we've learned and the things that hold us back. Neptune, dreams, illusions, confusion, and Chiron, the location of our deepest unhealed wound. All of those three are in Aries. Neptune and Saturn are in the first degree. And the first couple of degrees of any sign is very powerful. Aries is fierce. It is cardinal fire. It's ruled by Mars. And it is all about, this is me. This is who I am, but this is what I want. Aries is not afraid to use its voice. Actually, as you know, I call Aries the superhero. It's not afraid of anything. When you put that energy in the first degree with Leo, Venus and Leo, intense. And I'm going to double down because we have Lilith, the dark star Lilith in the sign of Scorpio, which we've had all year. Now, Scorpio is Pluto. And also co-ruled by Mars, so more passionate fire energy. But anyway, it is ruled by Pluto, which is about the psyche, the unseen. Pluto acts like a mirror. So romantically speaking, Lilith in your chart kind of shows the side of yourself that maybe you're afraid to show in relationships, you're afraid to embrace. When it let me get a sip, sorry. I'm getting overexcited. Biblically speaking and mythologically speaking, Lilith was the first wife of Adam, but she was expelled from the Garden of Eden because, again, she was a little too fierce, a little too this is what I want, especially sexually speaking. She was very dominant. And they were like, no, this is not going to do. So she was expelled from the Garden of Eden, and they made Eve from the rib of Adam. So it goes, right? Now, Eve was a lot more compliant, of course, because she was of him. So she wasn't exactly his counterpart the way Lilith was. And for me as an astrologer, I often think of the dark star Lilith as Lilith and Venus as Eve. But those are two sides of the same self when we're talking about the energies in your chart. Those are two sides of your love language, two sides of what you need. Right now, Lilith is in Scorpio, as I mentioned, with Pluto there and Mars. I mean, it doesn't really get more powerful than that combination. And as I mentioned, Pluto acts like a mirror. So anybody who's had heavy Plutonic relationships, Plutonic, meaning a lot of Pluto contacts or the eighth house contacts, knows that you tend to act like a mirror to your partner. And so your partner can often get afraid of what they see, right? It's the part of you you're afraid to show. And so then they react by, of course, trying to break the mirror. And now I'm going to get into, so all of this astrology is happening around the new moon in Virgo, which I actually also find very interesting, because Virgo is all about what is actually good for you. And the balancing of those two energies of Venus and Lilith, I've always said, is the key to your romantic understanding, I guess, or knowing what you need. But let me get into the guided music message. Now, astrologically speaking, this is extraordinary. It comes at the hands of, yes, one of my favorite writers out there, Fiona Apple, who is a Virgo, of course. She has the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in Virgo. So we get a message from her on this new moon in Virgo, and more than that. No, she has the Sun, Moon, Mercury in Virgo. She has Venus in Leo. Venus is about to move into Leo. She has Uranus in Scorpio. Now, Uranus is all about sudden change. So that's where that Lilith energy could rise up and say, with the shift of Venus out of Cancer into Leo, that Lilith energy is rising up and saying, wait a second, this isn't it. It can't go like this. The music message that came through from Fiona Apple is the song called Get Gone. And in the lyrics that came through, she says, and this is sensitive, so please, if you're in that kind of energy, trust me, I understand. As a Cancerian and empath myself, okay, how many times do I have to say to get away, to get gone? Flip your shit past another lass's humble dwelling, because I do know what's good for me, and I've done what I could for you, and you're not benefiting. And again, I'm sitting, singing again, singing again, singing again. Now, there's so much about that that's interesting astrologically, right? Because this whole flip your shit past another lass's humble dwelling, well, that is Lilith and Scorpio speaking right there. I see you. I know your shit. That kind of energy. I'm going to get to why this is relevant in just a minute, but astrologically first. And then she says, I do know what's good for me. Virgo energy, new moon in Virgo, sun in Virgo, all about what's good for your well-being, for your health, for your alignment, for your longevity. And will it lead to something sustainable over time? And Virgo is about the mind, body, soul alignment. It's halfway through the zodiac. It's very, very important, especially with two new moons there. Okay. Now, what else was I going to say about the astrology? Okay. I've done what I could for you, Cancer energy, and you're not benefiting. Leo energy, the sun, right? Now, I've talked about that Leo energy, Venus and Leo. If you're not being valued, if the gifts that you give are not being appreciated, easy outside my window right now. Anyway, then that pride comes up. Then that Lilith comes up. And this becomes even more so relevant for me as a reader, because I was thinking about it when this message came through. And over the past, I would say, 3 weeks or so, of private readings. So almost the whole time Venus was in Cancer, of private readings, I started coming to mind at least 5 of them, 3 of them from women, 2 of them from men, who were basically saying this, right? Like, I don't know where they went. Their contact has died down. There was no explanation. I thought I understood Neptune retrograde. You know, I did everything I could. I kept my heart open, Venus in Cancer. I was vulnerable. And there, you know, so that kind of energy. And then also, like, then they came back and everything was great. And then they left. We know the story. Certainly, anybody, any of you who might read tarot know the story. We've been saying it for years. Now, 2 of those readings happen to have been people who were left by long-term partners for much, much younger people. And again, I'm like, are we still singing again, singing again, singing again? And what I find interesting about these lyrics is she could be talking to somebody, yes, for sure. She's aiming it outward. But couldn't she be talking to herself? Yet I'm sitting, singing again. How many times do I have to say to get away, get gone? Well, the first thing that comes to mind, Lilith and Scorpio, yeah. How many times do you have to say? That's a question you ask yourself. And again, it's very interesting because the whole time Venus was in Cancer, and I did expect this. We also had a lot of retrogrades, so it tend to bring around people from the past again. But anyway, the whole time Venus was in Cancer too, a lot of my very close friends, right? Same old story, same story. And they'd call me, oh, he's going to come over tonight. He's going to call me tonight. And then I talked to them, how'd it go a couple days ago? Oh, he didn't call. But I'm not surprised, they would say. Or she didn't call. I'm not. But still, we're doing a reading for the feminine energy. They didn't call, but I'm not surprised. They didn't call. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's not very, or they didn't, whatever, come over when they said they would. And I'd be like, oh, that's awful. You must be, well, I expected it. No, I know. They're very busy. They're very busy with work. And I'm like, hey, listen, if somebody cannot find a minute and a half in a week span of time, see how you're doing? They don't care. They're not thinking about you. This song, how many times do I have to say? And this is that energy. I'm just saying, I warned you it would be fierce. But it is about that, right? Now we're moving again out of that Cancerian energy of the, oh, I know it's, they need help and they need beautiful energy, but enough. And that's the energy coming through for the divine feminine right now. Pluto is playing a huge hand in this. It's currently retrograding through Aquarius. It's not going to leave Aquarius, and then it will go direct there for the next 20 years. Aquarius is all in romantic relationships, is all about respect and partnership and equality. And there we bring that Lilith in again. Anyway, you guys, that was the music message. I'm going to link it in the description box below if you want to hear the whole song, which of course, much like all of her writing, is incredibly brilliant. And we'll get into the collective reading. Okay, for Divine Feminine in the new moon in Virgo with Venus in Leo. Okay, let's start off with the Sacred Rebels because it definitely seems to suit the energy. What's the overall energy for Divine Feminine with the new moon in Virgo? What do we have? Oh, this is interesting. On the bottom in the subconscious, we have softly, softly, the tender touch. There's that Venus and Cancer energy I was talking about. And there we have a legacy of light. And this is interesting, right? Because light, Leo energy. But we see different generations of feminine energy here. And it's kind of like on behalf of the many, on behalf of everything that came before. It's time to end a cycle. There's a new baby being born here. I'm going to stop the pattern. Let's get another one. It's beautiful. Oh, wow. We have defend to the end the worthwhile. Well, the one thing, in my opinion, that's worth defending to the end, that is worthwhile, is love. And the energy that we were channeling through in that music isn't coming from a heart-centered place. So your heart is the thing that is worth defending. Leo rules the heart, Venus and Leo. And it is, again, it's very fierce, but it's also very courageous and very strong. And perhaps the greatest act of rebellion there can be is keeping your heart open despite what it's been through. It doesn't matter. It carries the legacy of light. All right, let's get wisdom. That's incredible energy. Wood, there's the Virgo energy. Interesting. Top wood is all about paying attention to the details and doing things the hard way, right? Building it to last. And that's what I was talking about in the intro. Now, part of doing the hard work is part of carrying the light. It isn't just a matter of being like, I am love, I am in the light. It's being on the front lines. It's keeping your heart open and doing the work. That's all part of it. Defend to the end. Let's do another one. But yeah, with the Virgo new moon, it is again about creating what is sustainable, what is good for you. I do know what's good for me. Virgo is also the sacred servant. Yeah, look at this. We have orphaned energy. There we go. Okay. Now there's 3 generations of women here, and I have this orphaned energy. So that could be a family thing for you. I knew this reading was going to get sensitive. It could be a family thing for you, this legacy of light, right? Undoing that pattern could be. Okay. Let's get into the reading with the good tarot. Now, the new moons are all about manifesting in the new, yes, but they are about releasing the old. So let's see. What are you leaving behind? How many? I will do them. Whoa, what? We have the High Priestess and the Hanged Man. Double Pisces energy. Hey, well, the High Priestess is all about tapping into that legacy of light right there. It is about seeing things from a different way, you know? Like the hangman's upside down, his feet aren't on the ground. He's looking, he's getting a different perspective, and one that's coming a lot more intuitively. Now, in the recent past, maybe you knew you were receiving very, very deep intuitive messages about something. But in the Hanged Man energy, Neptune in retrograde, you might have been confused. You might have been trying to see through them or understand them. Okay. Now let me see you now. And the Hanged Man is an energy about sacrifice as well, like holding yourself in a suspended state again with that High Priestess, because you were intuitively picking up on something. Oh, we have the Emperor. Well, isn't this interesting? You know what? And you guys, if you've been watching my channel, you know this. We'll see how this goes. But every time I do a Divine Feminine reading, and vice versa, I get the other energy, and we do have Divine Masculine here. This is Mars energy, Aries, which is interesting, right? Capricorn and Taurus for me as a reader. Okay. So this can be about balancing out that energy inside of you, but we'll see, right? Because sometimes the readings swap energies. We could be tapping into a Divine Masculine here. We shall see. But in any event, I love that it's a lion though too, because that reminds me of Leo energy, right? And we talked about that in the intro. And it is about taking dominion over your own life. The Emperor certainly does know what's good for him. He's not going to compromise his empire. We have this defend to the end for any reason. Oh, okay. What do we got here? We have the Seven of Swords on the bottom. The Seven of Swords has been a big player lately, and it is all about what's hidden. It's about secret strategies, which is a defensive energy. All right, let me see what's coming up for you in the next steps here. I'm only taking that one. Those didn't feel right. Oh, I love this. The Ace of Cups. Well, the Ace of Cups is the beginning of the 10, but also it is about self-love. I love this pearl of promise that the baby seahorse is carrying. It's like inside there's still a treasure. Top wood. Let me see the energy surrounding you. This could be a person or a situation. Or, the Ace of Cups is a brand new beginning. Okay. We have the Knight of Swords, air energy. This can be communication. This could be you wanting to talk to this Emperor person. Now, in the beginning, in the intro, I said be careful because it can be very sharp, right? You could be quite in that Lilith energy, in that Leo energy. And this may not be that well thought out, but nevertheless, this is rapid communication here. Okay. Let me see the challenge. Are you telling them with this orphaned energy? You could be. Now, the Emperor could be husband, father. The challenge, oh dear, yeah. We have the Six of Cups. This is also Scorpio energy. And the funny thing well, it's not funny, but the thing I say about this card, in particular, this Six of Cups, she has her hands clutched to her solar plexus like she's holding on to the feeling of a memory. The Six of Cups is that nostalgia feeling. And it's in the challenge because of that, right? Because of what I said about the Cancerian energy. I know it's Scorpio, but because of what I said, that empathy. But the whole thing is with the water energy is being able to carry that feeling with you without having to spill it all out to leave. And that's part of it. But this is definitely about longing. Now, for some of you, there could be children here. This could be somebody where there's children involved and they walked out abandoned. And then we have the Three of Pentacles, earth energy. The Three of Pentacles is about, what about our plans? What about what we said? What about the trust? What about getting on the same page and working together? Both of these are in the challenge, right? Okay. Doing the work. The top wood. Three of Earth is about collaboration. It's about seeing things the same way. Potential outcome. Orphaned, we have the Four of Cups. This is a very sad energy. The Four of Cups is one of emotional neutral, yes, but it's also one of like feeling emotionally stuck. Okay. We have the Six and the Four. That's the Ten of Cups, which is the whole picture. And then I see the Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck. In this Two of Wands, there's a little boy up on the back of a giraffe holding a lantern out to the horizon. And with the Four of Cups, I'm kind of getting what I said. Where are they? So leaving the porch light on, despite anything else, despite this feeling. Okay. Let's clarify with the Naked Heart. In the recent past, you had the Hangman and the High Priestess. Yeah, I get it. Because you could see something intuitively. Who it is? The Emperor. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen any feminine energy yet. So we could be reading for a divine masculine here. With the Emperor coming out twice. But again, this can be you, though, with the Emperor, like hesitating, taking control. Either way, it could be, if this is a masculine. Let's get one more with the Emperor. What do we have? Okay. So much Neptune energy coming out. We have the Seven of Cups. We have the Hanged Man, the High Priestess, and the Seven of Cups. This is all Neptune energy. So the Seven of Cups can be a card about emotional confusion, illusion, not being able to see very clearly. So I'm not sure whether or not this person wasn't who you thought. Like, you could have been weaving dreams around them. And I'm a big one for weaving dreams because they are built on intuition. They are telling you what your heart wants, but they aren't necessarily meant to, you're not meant to apply them. You're meant to dream and let the universe apply them. That's what I've learned. But anyways, in the recent past, there is that confusion. So the Emperor right now. We have the Eight of Wands, fire energy, Leo energy. The Eight of Wands is a lot of passion, a lot of movement. So this could be once more, yeah. And then I see the Ten of Swords here. Okay. Let's have one more with that Eight of Wands for a minute before I go into it. You know what's good for me. Eight of Wands. Yeah. Oh my. We have the Nine of Pentacles, Earth energy. This is a card about independence. It's a card about, and it's pre-Empress energy. And I said, we don't see the Empress here. That's pretty interesting. Okay. But yeah, I think you've got something to say here. Defend to the end. Nine of Pentacles. Can I see the Ace of Cups in your next steps? This is, oh yeah. Oh, I like this. Okay. We have the Ten of Cups. Remember when I said this is the beginning of the 10? Well, the Ten of Cups is the everything card. Only you can define that. It can be family. It can be happiness, creativity, kind of all the invisible things. It is divine feminine energy right here. And then we have the Innocence of Cups. Look at all the water coming in. The Page of Cups now. For some of you, this could be somebody coming back around, right? With an apology. This is my getting the toe wet in the water of possibility here. Okay. Let me get one more there. What about this Page of Cups? This is you not closing your heart. Oh, I love it. We have the Chariot, Cancer's major arcana. The Chariot is driven by the Emperor, and it is about taking control of the direction of your life. It is about getting into alignment with what your head and your heart want. And that's the only way you're going to move towards success. So again, whether this is you taking on the Emperor energy and taking dominion over your own situation, it could be moving towards happiness here, or is somebody coming in? Let me see the Knight of Swords. Oh, okay. The Nine of Swords, air energy. The Nine of Swords is a lot of stress and anxiety and staying up all night and anticipation of the worst case scenario. Okay. Oh, interesting. And then we have the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. Can I have one more on this King of Pentacles? The King of Pentacles is my king of good intention. And see, I think it's this Emperor that you want to talk to. Nine of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Cups. More Cancer energy. Okay. Judgment, death, and rebirth here. Talk to them about how you feel. It can be. I mean, the Queen of Cups doesn't usually hide her emotions at all. Okay. Let me see the Three of Earth and the Six of Cups. But yeah, like I said, with the Nine of Swords, Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Cups, heightened emotions. So you could, when you speak to this person, be very emotional. I want to be. All right, let me see the Three of Earth. The Eight of Pentacles. Wood, putting in some kind of work here. Now, this is the Virgo energy I was talking about, and it's about building something real, something sustainable, putting in the effort. Okay, one more. And remember, I said, what about the plans? There's no work here. It's all cups. There's no grounded energy. Let me see the Eight of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles. This, okay, Ten of Cups. From the Ten of Cups, and I said, very ethereal. Now, this could be what they're coming in promising you. But they're coming in with a Page of Cups and an Ace of Cups. How many times do I have to say? We got the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups here. That's taking action on your own behalf. Remember I said defending your heart? But that's crazy. That's what the Nine of Swords, Knight of Swords, Queen of Cups is doing. Exactly that. King of Pentacles, I do know it's good for me. Oh. All right, Eight of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles. Building towards something that can last. Okay. Look who it is hiding on the bottom. It's the Queen of Wands. Okay. Interesting. Leo energy. Yeah, look at this. Strength. Double Leo energy. This is about pride, and it is about valuing yourself. So this could be an ex for some of you, this Emperor. It's trying to come back around with this orphan that abandoned. There could be children for some of you. For others of you, it's not necessarily, it's somebody who abandoned a promise. And I see the Four of Cups. Oh my, okay. We have the Four of Swords. Okay, that's interesting. The Knight of Swords and the Four of Cups again. The Four and the Four of Cups is the Eight of Cups. Now, later in the song, she says, hold on a second. She says, and I must decide if you must ride, then I'm much obliged to up and go. Eight of Cups. Because I do know it's good for me, King of Pentacles. It's funny it's coming in with the Knight of Swords because we have the Knight of Swords over here. Okay, let me see. Four of Cups and Four of Cups. The Star. So amazing. Aquarius energy. And the Star is about hope. It's about healing. And it is also, the North Star, it's about the future. And it's about a new kind of belief being born. Let's have one more with the Star. That's also a card about healing, but it is a renewal of hope. So I think in walking away, and again, this person could be coming toward you, so you might want to, yeah, look at this. The Five of Swords, air energy. The Five of Swords, defend to the end. That Star is what you're defending with that Five of Swords. The wish, the truth. And I said with that Six of Cups, right? It's not that the dream was wrong. You just don't want to do the casting. Let the universe do the casting. You write the story. The Five of Swords and the Star is defending to the end. Your dream. Let's have one more there. With the Five of Swords, how many times do I have to say? Yeah. Five of Swords, Five of Wands. Wow. So you do need to defend this. One more. Eight of Swords, Four of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. I love this. Because it's playing around with your head. It's playing around with your confidence and your belief in yourself. Now, for some of you, the Queen of Wands can often be the other woman. And when she comes through, and I'm not saying that in this case, but I just want to say for some of you it could apply. Okay, so take it as it resonates. When she comes through like this, she can be, but also what I was saying though, that is true as well. Getting unstuck. Eight of Swords, Four of Pentacles, and seeing yourself clearly. You are beautiful. So I don't know who abandoned you here or who chose somebody else. Four of Pentacles, one more. The King of Wands and the Moon. Okay, that's nice. Okay. We have that double new moon. In the middle, when is it? 7th of September, I think. I could be wrong. But there is a full moon eclipse in Pisces. We're in eclipse season, so the moon is factoring in big time. And you know what I see on the other side of that moon? I see a King of Wands. So once you embrace that Queen of Wands energy, and whoever this Emperor is, once you embrace that Queen of Wands energy, look who's on the other side. Somebody who's not threatened by you, a true partner. King of Wands. There she is. There's the Empress. That's amazing. I love that. So this could be a final step for you. Yeah, we have Judgment. This is death and rebirth. Look at that butterfly resurrecting there. So for a lot of you, it is about embracing that Queen of Wands energy. Funny, we have the Queen of Cups here with the Nine of Swords. And then the Queen of Wands comes in to say, no more Five of Swords, no more Four of Cups, Eight of Cups. It's not the 10 of Cups. Whatever this is, it's not. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to, they would. Think about that. I do know what's good for me. Sometimes when I'm doing these readings, I will say to people, and I've been in these shoes too, I'm not putting myself, I will say to people, what if things got real? If they can't come around when you are giving your level best, what about when you can't? We all get old. Think about that. Depends on what you want, right? If you want something, passionate and temporary and in and out, that's cool. I get it. But I'm talking about all the readings and all the people who've been calling me in the last few weeks. But look at Judgment, Resurrection. Look at that butterfly rising up. And there we see her, the Empress in strength. Guys. Ooh, okay. Let's get some star codes. This could be astrological energy in your chart, in a person around you, or just overall. Yeah, look at this. Uranus. Change. No more. Uranus is the Tower. Okay? Come out of the clouds. Chiron, which says heal. And here's Journey. Well, this is the transits unfolding. Okay? Okay. We have Capricorn energy. Capricorn is Saturn. We have Saturn in retrograde right now. On the bottom, I see Scorpio. And then I see Aquarius. Isn't that interesting? There's Lilith down there. Okay. And then we have the first house, which is the arrival of the new. We saw the Ace of Cups and King of Wands, right? Okay. One. And reinvention. I mean, that's Aries energy in the first house. And then, oh, well, Aquarius really wanted to come out. And in this deck, they call it collaborate. So that could be the King of Wands coming through for you. We have the Sun, and then we have Neptune. Oh, seeing clearly. Coming down off Neptune. All right. Let's go to the talisman. Consider these two. Sorry, there was a message trying to come through, but it didn't. On the bottom of the deck, we have defense, Scorpio energy, Lilith. We have safe travel, Chariot. We saw the Chariot right here, right? Okay. Maybe you had to, yeah. High Priestess, divine guidance. Okay. Navigation. Defend to the end the worthwhile. Okay. We did see the Seven of Swords. So maybe there's a strategy back here on getting away. And then growth of energy. Very, very nice. And then I see good luck. So it's about making this different choice right here. Okay. What else? Why don't we do a romance angel for you? Actually, I'm going to do a moon card too, of course. Pay attention to the red flag. The signs are cautioning you. Now, normally around here, you guys know I say red flags originate from our wound. And so whatever it is you're having to leave here could have been the final healing. So that you don't need to pay attention to red flags anymore. You've processed through that within you by saying no more. You won't have it come in anymore because we have the true partner. Let's have one more. I saw release your ex on the bottom. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it stayed there. And then I see forgiving and learning as you release and heal the past. You experience more joy in your present moments. Okay. Let's get a moon card. Actually, how's my timing? Oh, it's getting long. Okay, never mind. I'll stop with the moon card. For divine feminine. Oh, isn't that interesting? New moon in Cancer. Relax. That's nice. Okay. Full moon in Cancer. Let your fears dissolve. Beautiful. Okay. And new moon in Aquarius. Open up to change. We have the card about change. And another card for Cancer. Last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. We saw the Four of Swords, right? That's allowing yourself a time of rest and integration. Obviously, the Four of Swords comes after the Three, which is a repeating cycle of heartbreak from the past. Four of Swords is when you fully integrate that. And it's not just about getting it, it's about getting it. How many times do I have to say? All right, let's close it off with a card or two from the Lover's Oracle. I love you guys. It's intense energy. But like I said, things have to change. We got changed 3 times here. In the new year, all of those planets retrograde in Aries are going direct. You do not want to take that cycle with you. Yeah. You may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will be revealed. The moon and the King of Wands. Who is that? Waiting on the other side. Okay. Secret admirer. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they're letting on. You gotta release this illusion. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, we must accept things as they are. Yeah, there's no point in trying to change that which is beyond our control. I've done what I could for you, and you're not benefiting. One more. Balance. Love is not always about agreeing for the sake of it. Well, that is true. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. Maybe that's why this final healing had to be done. You know what I'm saying? Because with the King and Queen of Wands and that moon here, who is waiting on the other side is a true equal. So you can't be acting from that place, from that wound anymore. All right, you guys, that's what I have for you. I hope it resonated. I hope it was helpful. Well, the energy is what it is. I love you. I'll see you soon. Namaste.